Hey, hope you're doing well. So in this video, I'll be going exactly in depth, complete full training on how you can actually get started building and creating your own online program or course. And essentially I'm doing this because a lot of people are stuck on the first initial step, which essentially is just building out the whole thing, right? They're already preoccupied with marketing and scaling, but the first step to actually just launching one of these is building it. So I'll go over exactly the complete training that I do with my own clients as well, and how you can actually get started with building it. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll go to my computer. So now that we're on my computer, this is the complete training that I just talked to you about on how to actually build your own program and have the right foundations around it to be able to hit those 5-figure plus months that you're probably out looking for, right? So essentially this is the free training, the complete training on how to actually build it to get to those months, right? The actual first steps in order for you to do, right? So let's just jump a bit back a bit and actually see what is an actual online program and why, first of all, right? An online program essentially is just something that helps others through an online platform, obviously it being online, to achieve a transformation or elevate pain points. So somebody is probably just struggling with pain points, they want help, and they'll go through an online program to solve that. And essentially this is through a solution. And in this case, the solution essentially is your offer. So whatever you're going to package and sell it, that is the solution for them, right? And that's why it works, because people will buy through their pain points and things they're struggling with, right? Why? Well, people want help and support. That's what they really want, and doing it online is a great way to do that. Everybody's turning to online education. Like mentioned, everybody's more going to the online education. There's many reasons for that. I've covered that in other videos. And as well as that, people want to learn from people they trust and are experts. Why they don't want to learn from someone who's just a bit better than them. They actually want to learn from someone who's really, really good. And that probably in this case is you. And online provides way more opportunity for you to do them to do so, essentially. So essentially that's that. What will be covered in this video, the basics of having an online program or course, whatever you want to call it. Program and course essentially is kind of the same thing. Coming up with your ideal offer. So how do you actually come up with your ideal offer? What should be included in that offer? Very important. And what makes yours successful or not? So I'll be covering all of this in this video. So who are you watching this video? First of all, if this actually resonates with you, you're someone who maybe wants to launch their own course based off their expertise or something you're really good at, or an online creator who isn't satisfied with their income. That could be you as well. Or you want to create something that truly helps people out, right? You have something that's really good. You want to be able to transfer that over to other people. Then stick around because this video essentially is perfect for you. It's going to show you absolutely everything you need to actually do that, right? Quick background in the industry though, because courses work. I'm not telling this because they work. Sometimes they work, and they work for a lot of people, and every single niche out there makes a whole lot of money from it, right? And it's not only from people with millions of followers. A lot of people with little following actually make great income from it as well. So if that's you, you don't have a great number of followers, that isn't and shouldn't be a problem for you, right? And again, courses make millions, if not billions, in revenue. I said every month, but every year essentially, right? Udemy at a glance. Udemy is essentially just a course platform, and this is just an example of something I found online, but there are multiple platforms. I don't say that because I use Udemy. It's just a platform in general. But you can see here 3-4 years ago in 2021, it made around $580 million in sale in 1 year. And this was a few years ago when it was not as big. And this is just one of the platforms. There are like maybe 10-20 other platforms out there. So you can see how much this industry actually makes per year and how crazy it is and how you can take advantage of this, right? It's also an industry that I am in. I'm showing you this because essentially is what I do, right? I have an agency that helps creators and experts build, launch, and scale info products. So essentially these courses and programs helping their audience and teaching others, right? But we do it in our own way, so with our own strategies and systems to get you those really good months that you're looking at here, right? Essentially, this is what we do. So what this means for you is that you can come up with your very own online program where you can take part in the yearly revenue of billions of dollars that are made every single year, right? And this usually comes back to making it on something you are very skilled and are an expert in, or simply have knowledge in, right? Something that you're just better than an average person can turn it into an online course or program helping other people, right? It's as simple as that. So what this means, like I just mentioned, is that you don't have to be that skilled. As long as you're better than the average person, like I just mentioned, you can absolutely do this, right? So if you're able to help out that person who has pain points and is wondering or maybe asking you for advice, stuff like that, and you're able to create something that helps them, they will 100% pay you. There's no doubt about it. It's really as simple as that, right? So just an example quickly how it works. It's really just a simple example. Let's say you picked up photography about 2 years ago. So obviously you're not the best photographer in the world, but you're probably better than the majority of people who have never done it before. You practice long and you're pretty consistent with it. Well, when you started, or essentially when you started anything or embarked at anything of actually learning it, will you like to gotten help from someone who's been learning it for 2 years straight and has put in the hours in? The obvious answer is yes. It will just accelerate your learning much quicker. And essentially, that's the whole goal. That's the whole reason you're doing it. You're helping people accelerate their learning by giving your knowledge to them. Simple as that, right? It's just online what you're doing essentially. So first off, the actual basics of your online program. So these are essentially the things you need to be able to turn people into cash, right? To help them and therefore make money. You need a good offer and USP. Good offer is what you're actually offering, and it has to be unique. You can't just say, "I'll help you with this." I'll help you with this, a bit more detail on how you're going to help them and how much time. Right? That's the kind of offer side of things, and that USP is essentially a unique selling proposition. So, what makes you kind of different than others and stuff like that, right? A good reason behind selling it. Essentially, you don't want to go in this space just because you want to make money quickly. That's not the whole goal with it. You're actually trying to help people out, and that should be your main reason for doing it. Obviously, money is a reason, but the main reason should be helping out people. Having a target market with demand is possible. So having something that is your ideal customer and people that would actually buy from you, and essentially with demand if possible. So if there was already demand, that's definitely a good sign, but it doesn't necessarily have to, right? Having the right knowledge and having the right ways to create something that helps people out therefore makes you money, right? So having the right knowledge to be able to help people out and the right ways to do it. So the right ways to actually go about it, package online and sell it, right? That essentially is what going to make you money. These might seem obvious to you, but essentially are crucial and are essentially just the basics. So what's the actual first step for you to get started? Well, the first step is finding out what you're going to help people out with and the solution you'll provide through what you know. Essentially what you know and how you're actually going to package it and the outcome that other people will get. And essentially this is the offer, right? And here's what an offer can look like, right? This is just an example of what it can actually look like. You can say, I will help you build and scale your very own e-commerce store 10K per month with our unique organic strategies. This could be an example of offer. I will help men in this specific case gain more confidence in a social setting in 90 days. This could be another example of an offer. And I will help you become a better portrait painter, right? This is, again, pretty specific, but these are all examples of offers that you have to create. And that's essentially the first step for all the foundations later on. So now that you know actually what is an offer, you may be asking yourself, how do you actually come up with your own offer, right? So if you're not exactly sure how, then you can look at these specific things. So if you're someone who creates content online, do you have an audience that follows you for a specific reason? And most likely that reason should give you a good enough answer on what you should create it on. Do you have something that people are impressed by or needing your advice or help in? Do you get commonly asked about something that you're really good at and people want your help about it? Or do you simply know that you're really good at something and you have things to back it up, right? You know you're pretty good at something, you know people will want your help, and it's just a matter of packaging it and helping others, right? So essentially, these should be enough for you to know what your offer should look like, right? So the second step, now that you have your offer, it's time to validate that offer. So you've created it. Now you have to validate it, meaning what people want your help, essentially. And this can be done by seeing if your audience is interested. Now, goes back to if you have some kind of audience and simply just seeing if they are interested. And this kind of ties back to our market research strategies that we use for our own clients. So essentially just validating your offer before you even work on it to see if it's actually going to go well. And this is actually critical to see if your course will actually do well and do really good numbers, right? Where essentially you're able to find if they need help. So in that validation, you'll be able to find out if they need help and how much they'd be willing to pay for it and more. You'll get all that information, again, with our strategies that we use. And with that, you'll actually be able to know exactly if that offer will work that you're creating. So now that your program is validated, like mentioned, you can start building it. And what goes in one of these? In reality, it depends, right? But for what we recommend to our own clients that we work with, this is the 4 things that you need to have a really good program, right? These are the 4 things. So resources, accountability, community, and optimization. And I'll go in depth in these 4 things. But this is like essentially the 4 base things that we use to base ourselves off of creating one of these, right? So let's go into the resources side of things. So resources means the actual information. So if you're helping people out, it's most likely done through some video courses or some resources that you're transferring what you know online, right? And like mentioned, this is usually video courses or PDF guides. We see kind of a mix of both usually, and usually composed of 5 to 8 modules, with each having their some modules. So if you're doing video courses, it'll usually be 5 to 8 main modules of what you're actually going to cover, and with each of them having their sub modules. Now, the length completely depends on what you want to do it and how much you want to price it for. So it really depends. So the goal is to put information that is valuable and helpful without overdoing it, right? You don't want to put information that isn't needed and it's just putting just hours of content for no specific reasons. You want to just package it in exactly what you know, step by step, so you can help them out, right? You can record these with slides, a bit like I'm doing it right now, or direct videos, so just direct one-on-one videos, and then editing them professionally or not, really depends. But essentially, this is a resources side of things where a lot of people get lost and mixed up on how to actually get started, but it's pretty simple. Accountability. So having strategies in place where you are able to keep people accountable inside your program is super important in order for you to actually get results with your program, right? And this is where you can ask them questions, get direct feedback, and provide direct help for the people inside. So making sure they are actually going to get results for your offer that you promised them, right? Remember the offers you gave them. So actually helping them out with that, because they bought for a reason, right? You can do this with live calls, message access, and more. And this essentially is really an important part that a lot of people neglect. They'll think that, once my member is inside the program, forget about it. He's already joined, he's already paying me. I don't need to be accountable for his results. But this is a big mistake. You really want to make them accountable and see and really help them in the process of getting really good results. And that essentially is going to help you in really many ways in just getting more sales afterwards. So make sure you have the accountability side of things covered. So now we'll go over the community side of things, which essentially is another key part of having your own online program and course do very well, right? And essentially community is something that a lot of people neglect as well, and it's not to be neglected, right? So having a platform where people can interact with each other, so everybody who kind of had those same pain points and issues that actually bought into your program, having a platform or a community where they can actually join and interact with each other is a really good solution. This can be done to provide additional help, create connections between people, and just have additional support, right? There are ways to properly set it up inside your program for it not to become forgotten about, right? If you don't do it properly, the community is going to be another one of those old group chat that nobody is actually into, right? So super important to have the community properly set up, and that essentially what that does is that you can actually charge more for your program because you have the community side of things, and it's just going to help and create a better overall experience for the people that are inside. So community, again, super important to have it. So now onto the optimization side of things. So this is the part where you actively improve your program in every single aspect to make it better for the members, for long-term success, for revenue numbers, everything that has to be done with optimizing it for the better, essentially, right? And this is done again to have better member results. So helping your members get better results, better processes as well, and an overall improved experience for the members and for your revenue as well, right? They're kind of linked together. So doing this effectively is going to improve absolutely everything inside your program, course, from the actual sales and the satisfaction of the members. So essentially that's the two part why you're doing it: the actual sales, so the actual revenue numbers, and the satisfaction of the members, which ties back into the actual sales. So super important optimization. You have to have it nailed down. You can't just leave your program or your course as is forever. It's going to die down. You have to constantly be optimizing it, tweaking it, and changing it, right? Super important. And after building it, you then launch it, right? Super important to have the appropriate launch strategy as well, to make sure that once you do launch, you've built a certain hype around it, people know about your product, and they can actually buy it, and they're actually interested. And essentially, your pre-launch strategy and your launch strategy as well can vary a lot depending on your niche, audience, and more. There's a lot of factors. I can't tell you exactly what to do. essentially, if you become a client, I'll tell you exactly what to do, but it really depends on your niche and your audience, and even more than that, right? So now, what makes it successful or not? There are so many things that you have to have nailed down in order to have one of these program or courses actually be successful. So everything I've kind of just talked to you about essentially is just the basics of it. Or else you will find these things. Or else you will find yourself trying these things, guessing things, and ultimately failing. I'm not saying you're completely going to fail, but you're going to find it very hard to get a move on and to actually know what to do once starting it. And I'm sure you listening to this is not exactly what you want, right? You don't want to have to be in this guessing game, being in a position where you're not sure what to actually do, and you're maybe going to keep failing. You're not exactly sure how to go about things. So that being said, knowing that you have to have all these right systems and have all the right knowledge to actually get every single one of these processes right in order to have success with it, my question to you is, what is your plan to be able to make your program successful, right? What are you going to do knowing that you have to have all this knowledge to make it work, right? But something I wanted to let you know is that you don't have to learn everything by yourself, right? You don't have to play the guessing game of absolutely learning everything by yourself. You jump straight into having all the knowledge and system through us, right? With our last program hitting 23K in sales in only 20 days of its launch, right? So we kind of know what we do when it comes to actually launching one of these programs and courses, right? So I recommend, if it's you're actually serious about launching it, maybe seen other of my content, and you want to actually launch your very own to reap all the benefits that comes with having your own online program or course, then I recommend getting a free consultation. So essentially it's just a book call with me down below in the description of this video, or going through my Instagram and kind of messaging me there for any questions or inquiries you may have about the whole process, and I'll be gladly to answer them. So again, if you're interested, you're ready to get started, you want to just learn a bit more in depth how we work, I get a free consultation below this video right here, or go to my Instagram for any questions you might ask. So that being said, I'll talk to you soon.